This is the plaintiff, Jason Chase. He says he owned a Quaker parrot named Kiwi, and it injured its leg in a fall. The defendant, an avian veterinarian, prescribed a cream for Kiwi, which got into the bird's body, creating toxins, and she died. His pets are his children. He's devastated by the loss, and it's all because of the ignoramus defendant. He's suing for $3,083.41 for vet bills and pain and suffering. This is the defendant, Dr. Adam Magdy. He says he prescribed a very low-dose steroid for the bird, and unfortunately he ate it and swallowed it. This bird was self-mutilating, and what happened was very unfortunate, but it's not his fault. If a doctor prescribes a medication with a 2-teaspoon dose per day, and the patient drinks the whole bottle, is the doctor to blame? He thinks not. He's accused of making a foul mistake.
Okay. Jason Chase, you are suing Buttonwood Animal Hospital and Dr. Adam Magdy?
Correct.
For $3,083.41 in damages that you sustained as a result of what you say is negligence on his part in treating your bird. Tell me what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. In December of 2008, my pet bird, Kiwi, sustained a broken leg.
Okay, what kind of bird is Kiwi?
Quaker parrot.
Okay, Kiwi did not survive this, correct?
She survived the broken leg, yes, but...
Okay. Kiwi is deceased now,
yes.
Correct? All right. A Quaker parrot. Do you have a picture of Kiwi?
Yes.
May I see it?
Absolutely.
Oh, my God, look at the bird on the dog. Is this your dog?
Yeah, he is also deceased.
At the time that Kiwi broke his or her?
Her
leg, how old was she?
About 5.
And what's the life expectancy of these birds?
About 40.
40?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's a big commitment.
Yes, ma'am.
It's like a kid. They don't go away.
That was like
they
my
don't pay their own way.
That
they
was
don't
my
go
child.
away. They're always there. It's like, all right. Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
Kiwi breaks her leg. How did she break her leg, by the way?
She flew off of my shoulder and landed on her cage, and I guess she fumbled and...
Okay. All right, so you took her over to Dr. Magdy.
Yes.
And had the bird been going to Dr. Magdy before that?
No.
All right, so how did you pick Dr. Magdy?
Because this happened in the evening, and I wanted to get her somewhere right away. It was wintertime, and I looked in the phone book and wanted to find someone that is a bird specialist or treats birds, which is hard to find in where I live.
Okay, so he ends up splinting Kiwi, right?
Correct.
All right, now the worry with a splint, doctor, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the bird is going to pick at the splint.
That will be
So
his...
what did you do to prevent picking at the splint?
Okay. That will be his mission in life, to pick on the splint and destroy the splint. Okay, and we put an E collar, which for
That's
the bird...
those little Victorian collars?
For the bird, okay.
Right, the lampshade that has... No, just stay where you are and hand it to my bailiff. Thank you.
Okay.
These
It's
little,
made of X-ray because the bird is about 3 ounces.
Right.
Okay, and you have to make it very light.
So you do something like this?
Correct.
Okay, but what do you do about these rough edges that are down here?
Okay, you smoothen them and you put a tape on it.
Okay. Is that what you did with Kiwi?
Correct.
All right. Now, according to you, that's not what he did with Kiwi.
Correct.
What do you say happened?
First of all, I never saw what was touching under her skin because her feathers were over it.
Right.
Okay? When I found that it was cutting into her, because yes, she was picking at it and trying to get it off all the time, when I took it off, there was no tape across it. It was that sharp edge against her neck. And as soon as I looked at her, I saw blood.
Okay.
And I became incensed.
Okay. So you take Kiwi back to him, and what happens?
Well, what he said was that I was to give her antibiotic injections through her breast, which he instructed me how to do, which I did. And he gave me Panalog ointment. And this ointment was a little tiny box, and it said on it, after he gave it to me, it said on the bottom, dogs and cats only. And I looked at him. Yes. And I looked at him and I said, excuse me, are you sure this is safe for my bird because it's dogs and cats only? And then he said, oh, that's fine for birds. If the company put birds on the box, it would cost them $1 million and they'd go out of business. It's fine for birds. I said, okay.
Meaning because it costs extra to shoot a picture with a bird in it?
He was trying to say that it's
Okay.
okay for birds, even though I said it said cats and dogs only. He was
What-
assuring
now,
me it
what
was okay.
happens is the bird is you are putting the ointment as directed by him. And
Yes.
what ends up happening with the bird? That's not going so well.
No. That's when she became lethargic. Shortly after, she was lethargic, bloated, and constantly eating, and she stopped talking.
Okay.
She used to talk
Now,
constantly.
she used to talk constantly.
Yes, and she wasn't the type of mimicking bird.
What kinds of things would she say?
She would say, I would come home from work, and she would say, Daddy's home. I would take a shower. No, most birds, 99% birds, will mimic. They copy. She knew what she was saying at the time. This is a very intelligent bird.
Right.
Okay, I would come home, she would say, Daddy's home. When I would be taking my shower to get ready for work, she would say, Kiwi, take a bath, Kiwi, take a bath. And she would fly. I would have to open the cage so she could fly over to the bathroom and watch me take my shower and all that. I mean, she just always wanted to be with me, and she always spoke what she said. And it was too late, and I was on the phone, or the TV was too loud, she would say, Kiwi, say goodnight, and that would be my signal to cover her up, and she wanted to go to bed. That's what kind of bird she was.
So now the bird takes a turn for the worse, and you
Yes.
decide to go to a different doctor.
Yes. Dr. Connie Orcutt is
Okay.
her name. There are 2 avian specialists in the United States. She's one of them.
And what happens there?
I had to leave her there. I could tell she was very sick, and I had to leave her overnight. I didn't even get to see her one more time.
I'm sorry.
So then, the doctor, Orcutt, which I have all of her credentials here if you want them. She has amazing credentials. Her first call, okay, Kiwi's going to be here for a few days. We got to run a lot of work on her. I said, I have a care credit card, and money's no object. This is my baby. I don't care what it costs. Put it on the card. Fine. The next day I get a call, and I had this sinking feeling because it was a little early, and that's when they said she died.
Okay. Now, did they tell you what they think caused her death?
Yes,
What is that?
the Panalog cream.
The cream. And why?
Because it's a steroid and it's not to be used on birds. Connie Orcutt, the avian specialist, sent this doctor a fax, which I can provide you a copy of, advising him not to use it on birds anymore.
Okay.
And I looked in the 2010 to 2011 Yellow Pages just before I came here, and it still says Buttonwood Animal Hospital and Bird Clinic.
Okay. Show me the facts that the specialist sent to him.
And
All right. The
on the
bird goes
bottom, it
there, the
says a
bird is
lot.
treated for a couple of days, and the bird dies. And
Right.
then you get a fax from that doctor
Right.
that says to you, you shouldn't have used a steroid cream on
Never.
the bird.
Read the facts.
I did read the facts.
Okay.
Okay?
I read it
and
too.
in it, it says that it's not advisable here. Let's use the exact words so we don't have
Thank you.
an argument about this.
Thank you.
Okay, I suspect that the polyuria, increased cholemic fat stores, hepatopathy, and immunosuppression were secondary to the action of corticosteroids. That means that all that stuff was wrong with the bird, but that's secondary to the use of corticosteroids. That means that corticosteroids was primary. Even topical steroids can have a profound effect on birds, and we can see the effects only after a short period of time. Okay, and you should know that, and so call me to discuss it. All right? So I don't think that Dr. Orcutt was very impressed with the use of steroids on a bird of this size and the use of that steroid. It sounds to me like that's pretty clear that's what she's saying. Did you call Dr. Orcutt to discuss it with her when you heard the bird had died?
Yes, I did.
You did. And what discussions did you have with Dr. Orcutt?
Okay, I explained to her what happened, and she explained to me that the bird got larger than expected dose, okay? And because of that, there is some consequences.
Okay. Do you have your notes, your original notes from all of the...
Yes, I do.
May I see your original notes, please? Will you
Sure.
hand them to Douglas? Now, according to you in your notes and your answer to the complaint, you say that this bird ate the ointment from the actual ointment jar or whatever. Where do you get that from?
I got a phone call on the 13th that the bird got into the medicine. What should I do? So I seen the bird, asked them to bring him the next day on the 14th.
So according to you, they told you the bird got into the medicine.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Owner called, sort of squeezed in there between the 7th and, all right, the 13th, there's a note that says, called roommate, left door open, Kiwi chewed on med.
Oh, my God.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, is this vet responsible for the death of the bird?
Yes, completely.
Why do you say?
He killed the bird
How do you know he killed the bird?
because he gave him the wrong medicine.
But how do you know that killed the bird?
Well, he's an expert in his field, and it said for dogs and cats only, so.
So you can't prove it conclusively, but you're saying doing something like that is Russian roulette for a bird.
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah, he should have known better. He gave him a medication that doesn't fit the bird, so.
That doesn't fit the animal.
You know, it doesn't.
I get your point. Going inside the courtroom.
Are these notes taken contemporaneous with the phone calls and the visits? In other words, you do like other vets do, that you write the note the day it happened.
Correct.
You don't catch up and write it later.
Nope.
You liar.
And you say he's completely making that up to save his own skin.
Absolutely. My bird was so sick that she couldn't even get out of her cage. The medicine wasn't even near her. Excuse me, Your Honor, but now I'm getting a little bit upset because that is such a blatant lie. There was never a call saying that the bird got into the cream to eat the cream. Liar. Okay? What happened was, and I'm sorry if I'm angry, because that hurt me. This hurts me. Okay? What happened is exactly as I said. As I was applying the Panalog ointment to the bird, as he instructed me to do, me trusting him, thinking he is a veterinarian doctor, okay? I'm doing this according to his instruction.
Stop. Let me just ask you a couple questions, because I'm concerned about a couple
Please.
things. Number one, I have the facts that supposedly sent to you by the avian specialist at Angel Medical Center, Dr. Orcott, who tells you that what I read to you earlier, it's anything else that was wrong with the bird is secondary to the use of corticosteroids. Even topical corticosteroids can have a profound effect in birds, and we can see that after a short time. I thought you'd want to know what we found. I'm happy to discuss it with you. You say that you talked to her and that you told her what? And you say the doctor says he never talked to her.
Correct.
Okay, and you say you talked to the doctor and told her what?
I told her what's happening with the bird, and this was after the case because she sent me the fax, okay, on the...
What day did you talk to the doctor?
After I received the fax.
Where are your
about 4
notes
days.
about talking to the doctor? Do you have a note that talks about talking to the doctor?
No, I just have a copy of
lies.
the
Of what?
fax from the doctor.
Well, no, we know the doctor sent you a fax. The question is, did you do nothing in response? See, because I've got that fax that she sent you, but I've also got a letter that she wrote for court talking about, look, you know, you're right, I can't exactly pinpoint, in fairness to you, it says I cannot pinpoint the exact cause of death, but I got to tell you, the use of these steroids is not advisable in birds. I mean, that's what the doctor says. He's got an obligation to prove today, not that you murdered the bird on purpose, but that by a preponderance of the evidence, what you did was maybe not a good idea, okay? I've got your notes, and I've got a grave concern about your notes. I wasn't born yesterday. I've done this a long time. I've been a judge a long time. I was a prosecutor before I became a judge a long time, and I have what we call a critical eye when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm looking at your notes, and when you write the dates, in 2 places, you wrote 10, January 15th, 10, and over it, you wrote 9. Now, when January comes, I will often write last year's date, but I will never write a future date. I will never do that. None of us do that. When I see that somebody does that, what that tells me is that they're covering their own behind, that they're turning around and making up stuff to cover their own tracks. And I got to tell you, anybody can make a mistake. Every single one of us can make a mistake. But the mistake is one thing. The cover-up is 100,000 times worse than the crime to me. Yes. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. It's shameful. Yes. Okay, now, aside from the hospital bills and the vet bills and testing that you did to find out the cause of death, you're also suing for $1,000 for pain and suffering, and I want to be clear on something. I know from having spoken to you during this trial how much pain you endured and how much you suffered. There's absolutely no debate about that. You cannot get pain and suffering on this kind of a case, okay? As much as we adore our animals, they're considered property. And so what you get are compensatory damages. You don't get pain and suffering, okay? But you do get everything else that you're suing for, and therefore I find you in your favor in the amount of $1,933.41. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Well, that's it. The plaintiff has won this case handily over the defendant, who's right here. What's your reaction to this outcome, the cover-up?
Well, this is not really a cover-up. Okay.
You changed the dates.
I have not changed the date.
No?
No.
What were the changes on the forms then?
There was no changes.
No changes. All right. And your answer to the prescription of the steroid at the wrong time for this bird?
Okay, that could be a factor.
Could be.
Yes.
Okay. You want to apologize to this plaintiff for the loss of his bird or anything, or you want to just leave it?
Sure, I definitely, feel for his suffering for losing of the bird, and if things are different, okay, I hope the outcome will be different.
All right, right down this way. Unfortunately, the outcome is the same. So come on in here. Do you? How you doing? Do you accept his apology?
I will accept it, but I don't believe it was sincere because I have been trying to pursue this matter with him since January of 2009 and have heard absolutely nothing from him whatsoever.
What was going on in your mind when the tears started to flow there?
Nothing but all the lies that he was saying, making up the story about my bird got into her own cream, kept calling her a him, the lack of compassion. I went on a website and I found an awful abuse that he did on a kitten as well. If you want to look it up, Buttonwood Animal Hospital.
Well, does winning the case ease the pain of losing the bird?
No.
No?
No. It just means that I did justice by her and I had justice performed
Done
properly,
for you.
But that's it.
Harvey?
Okay, real quick. This is the whole essence of a court case like this. Expert testimony wins and loses cases, period. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.